Now at 9, Forest States Motor Complex holds its annual Mother Road Mayhem event in Neosho. Plus, local veterans are honored by receiving dream flights from a nonprofit. And Kansas City Chiefs fans gather at Pitt State for KC Family Day.
The 4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Amber Jenkins. We have some thunderstorms chances throughout next week. We go straight to meteorologist Sam Lane with the first look at weather.
That's right, we had thunderstorm chances, and we also had some thunderstorms this morning. You see on the radar review over the last 12 hours, those thunderstorms basically moved across southeastern Kansas into southwestern Missouri earlier this morning around 3 o'clock, and a little bit of rumble and thunder, and it didn't produce much in the way of rainfall, only about 1/10 of an inch in most locations. However, over in Dade County near Greenfield, they picked up over a little half an inch. More storms are developing in North Texas and also up to our north and north central Kansas, where storm watches are in effect. This is expected to become complex and start to move our direction as we head into the overnight hours. So you can see as temperatures drop through the 70s tonight down to 67 by morning, some of those storms could be in our northeastern counties early tomorrow morning. So we have some morning thunder showers, isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon, above normal temperatures, and a gradual cool down. And I'll have more details on that in just a little while.
Look at the size of this hail. Emergency officials in Grundy County, Missouri are reporting that golf ball to grapefruit-sized hail fell across the area Saturday night. Several buildings had major damage. The National Weather Service confirmed that a tornado touched down in Lynn County with winds hitting up to 70 miles per hour. There are no known injuries from the storm. Mother Road Mayhem hosts its annual motor show this weekend in Neosho. KOAM spoke to the organizers of the truck show. It's the third year of the Mother Road Mayhem Truck Show, but this is the first year that the Mother Road Mayhem is held at the Forest States Motor Complex under new management.
We've had 4 months to prepare this show. My partner and I previously bought this show back in October off of Robbie from Keg Media. He's the original starter of this show 2 years ago. Real good friend of mine, and since this was my hometown, he wanted me to have the show.
As Mother Road Mayhem adapts to the new location and management, it also adapted to the increase in popularity.
My partner and I's mindset in this was, hey, if we can clear last year's number, which was about 329 vehicles, we would be happy. We hit 807 registrations, so we are ecstatic about it. We did not expect lines of cars at the intersection or lines of cars the other way.
Mother Road Mayhem lasts from Friday through Sunday. However, a rain shower the night before the show shook up some plans.
It's been a little bit of a challenge, like Tyler touched on. The weather wasn't very kind to us, but we make things happen, and that in itself was a bit of a challenge, but we have very good people structured around us, and we're all willing to help and work and make this thing happen.
Monster trucks, lifted trucks, and lowered trucks. Mother Road Mayhem is a truck show, but the Forest States Motor Complex wants to expand to more motor shows.
Because we are a four-state moto complex, we're not solely on, fixated onto motocross. So that was a big deal for us when we put this facility together.
Mother Road Mayhem is expected to return next year at the Forest States Motor State Complex. The second generation and Sanctified Tribe Motorcycle Ministry today hosted its second annual Paul Richardson Memorial Blessing of the Bikes in Neosho. The event included Sunday morning services, a bike blessing, food vendors, and live music by the second generation. Officials say proceeds from the event will benefit the Sanctified Tribe Motorcycle Ministry.
This is our second annual Paul Richardson Memorial Blessing of the Bikes. Just want to offer safety for the riders of the area. It's really kind of an awareness for the community as well that we can offer to let people be aware that motorcycles are on the road, especially more now than ever with the beautiful weather and the cost of gas and everything else.
The event was open to the public and wrapped up at 2 p.m. Lucky aviators in Miami today got a chance to experience their dream flights thanks to a local nonprofit. Dream Flights is a nonprofit organization that honors military veterans and seniors by providing them with an opportunity to fly in a Boeing Stearman biplane. Officials with the organization collects and preserves the stories of these heroes and shares them to remind us of our shared humanity, our connection to each other, and the value of listening.
Dream Flights is a nonprofit organization founded in 2011. Our main mission is to give back to those who gave. Take them up, for a quick 15-minute flight and let them enjoy the sights and the scenery and just get reconnected with their youth. And that's our way to give back. That's our small way to show our appreciation for what they've done for our country.
The foundation was established in 2011 by Daryl and Carol Fisher out of their love for the aviation world. Kansas City Chiefs fans had the opportunity to meet a special guest from Red Kingdom. Victory Life Church in Pittsburgh, Kansas today hosted Casey Family Day featuring a visit from the one and only Casey Wolf. Casey Wolf and Gus from Pitt State signed autographs and played football with attendees. The first 500 kids received free t-shirts.
Meeting Casey Wolf and him passing the football around to us. Was it like Patrick Mahomes? I'm surprised that's not him.
The thing that made today so fun was getting to meet the Casey Wolf, and now it's really fun to be able to get a signed autograph from the Casey Wolf. My favorite part was getting pictures with Gus and Casey Wolf and getting an autograph.
My favorite part about today was getting to play football because I got to play with Casey Wolf.
The event began at 11 a.m. and ended at 3 p.m. All eyes are on President Biden as the DOJ nears a decision on whether to charge his son with tax and firearm violations. In the new interview, the president fiercely defending Hunter Biden ahead of potential federal charges. Fox News correspondent Alexandra Hoff has the latest from Washington.
The decision will be a cap on the 4-year-long investigation by the Justice Department, one that Republicans have criticized for moving too slowly. So one might assume that House Republicans who have been investigating the business dealings of the Biden family would want an indictment to come in short order. But today on Sunday Morning Futures, House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer said that the DOJ should wait until after Wednesday, when Congressman Comer says a press conference will take place to show new evidence that the committee has gathered.
My message to the Department of Justice is very loud and clear. Do not indict Hunter Biden before Wednesday, when you have the opportunity to see the evidence that the House Oversight Committee will produce with respect to the web of LLCs, with respect to the number of adversarial countries that this family influence peddled in. This is not just about the president's son.
Last week, the president came to his son's defense when asked how a potential indictment would impact his presidency.
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
Democrats argue that an indictment of the president's son may not weigh heavily on the president's re-election campaign, given that former president and once again candidate Donald Trump has himself been indicted.
This is what Hunter Biden has come down to now. He is a distraction, a shield against all the trouble that Trump is experiencing.
And Axios is reporting that top aides to the president are clashing with Hunter Biden's team. That's over a plan to create a legal defense fund. In Washington, Alexandra Hoff, Fox News.
Coming up is National Nurses Day. We'll take a look at one nurse and how he wants to bring awareness to nursing after the pandemic. Today is National Nurses Day. We profile Carter Todd with Capital City Black Nurses Association, Cashier Parliamentary Roseville, and 40 Under 40 honoree, discussing the challenges nurses face in a post-pandemic world.
Nursing is a calling, and for Carter Todd, a nurse manager at Kaiser Roseville and former PICU nurse, it's a passion.
We are kind of the glue to the healthcare system.
Building the pipeline to get more minority nurses in the field is why he founded the Capital City Black Nurses Association.
Communities of color, like you talked about, our representation in nursing historically has not been there.
Data shows only about 5% of California nurses are Black.
And the evidence shows that when you have healthcare professionals that look like you, that understand where you're from, that speak the same language, you're going to get better care.
Disparities stem from the lack of STEM classes in many middle and high schools with less resources. Todd says getting rigorous science and math courses for all students is where change starts.
If you're in a school that historically doesn't receive the same funding as a school, in a district right next to you, it's hard to get that same access.
What are you setting out to change in the nursing field?
I want nursing to be for everybody, and I want nursing to help everybody.
A shocking report released in April by the California Hospital Association found 1 in 5 hospitals in the state are at risk of closure. One of many factors is workforce shortages. For Todd, his work is more important now than ever.
You know, burnout on the front line for healthcare professionals is real. And this last 3 years, it really just amplified how tough it is.
Todd says he's changing the narrative and pushing his profession to young people who may not know it's possible.
Nursing is for everybody. It should be an option for everybody. And I think that we're getting there. I'm really proud of what we've been doing over the last 5 years.
And not stopping until barriers are broken down.
A frightening statistic from the medical field. A survey conducted by the AM in Healthcare Services Incorporated in January says that 1/3 of nurses are looking to quit the profession. That number up 7% from 2021. 63% say they are looking for a safer working environment to reduce their anxiety. Many nurses surveyed blamed the coronavirus pandemic for making them feel fatigued and overwhelmed. Drug overdose deaths in the U.S. rose to a record levels during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to a new report released Wednesday from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It details the deadly rise of fentanyl connected to drug overdoses deaths across the country. Researchers took a closer look at the specific drugs on the death certificates of people who died of overdoses. The report found that fentanyl is significantly more likely to be involved in a deadly overdose than other common drugs. Sam is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Pittsburgh State baseball takes on Central Oklahoma. Brock Aldridge will have the highlights in sports.
Well, folks, another warm day across the 4 states, even close to record highs once again today. Not as much as yesterday, but still a pretty toasty day. You can see as we started out this morning in Seneca, Missouri, at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, we had quite a few clouds with those scattered showers in our area, but those quickly moved off towards the east. And then we had afternoon clouds this afternoon, but as we headed towards sunset, mostly fair skies across the area. Allergies, though, they were still bad. 9.3 today, 10.7 tomorrow. Most of that is mulberry, oak, and various grasses out there, so if you're allergic to that. 85 is what we topped out at today, only 3 degrees away from the record of 88 back in 1962. And of course, we were way above the normals of 74 and 53 for the state. And we're about 4 inches behind on rainfall for the year. We're going to get a little bit closer to catching up on that here in the next few days. This afternoon we saw temperatures in the upper 80s out towards the west, 88 at Yates Center and in Garnett. A little bit cooler off to the east where it was 76 in Monette and 77 degrees over there in Cassville. Then as we see the temperatures this evening dropping down into the 70s, still close to 80 out towards the west ahead of the next storm system. Radar is clear in our immediate area, but notice up towards the north in northern Kansas, a complex of storms developing, and it looks like some of these storms are going to sneak down closer to our area tonight, especially for our northern areas from, let's say, Nevada and points to the north and east. From there, they have the best chance of storms later on tonight and tomorrow morning. You can see another complex over Texas that is moving away from us. We're waiting this big storm system on the west coast getting closer to us before we start to see our chances of rain really start to increase. Right now in Joplin, it's 75 degrees, south-southwest wind at 15, dew point is 66, so it's definitely humid out there. Same thing in Pittsburgh, 75 right now. 75 is what it feels like, and the dew point is 69, so that gives us a high humidity of 83%. Here's the ridge of high pressure that's been sitting over us for the last few days. That's going to start to break down and move off towards the east. That's going to allow a weakness to develop in the ridge and low pressure centers to start moving across our area, and that's when we're going to see the rain chances really start to increase in our immediate areas. Severe storms this afternoon and tonight are going to be up towards the north and also down in northern Texas. And then as we go through tomorrow, we're going to see the best threat of severe weather off towards the east in the eastern sections of our viewing area. Not really expecting a whole lot here. 1 or 2 storms might become severe in our area, but I think the better chance of severe weather is going to be on Tuesday, especially in our western sections, and then those will roll eastward in the overnight hours. Rain chances are going to be pretty much low, but then they'll start to increase as we go through the overnight and early morning hours as we go into Monday. And here you can see on the forecast, temperatures tonight in the 60s for lows with the best chance of storms up to the north and east. And then this front's going to get a little bit closer to us as we go through the day on Monday with scattered thunderstorms mainly off towards the east with highs in the mid to upper 80s. And then as we go through Monday night into Tuesday, that boundary will still be in our area with scattered showers and storms with lows in the 60s. And then as we go through Tuesday afternoon, pretty nice. Partly cloudy skies with highs in the mid 80s, maybe some storms up to the north and west, and then those will roll in our direction late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning with lows in the 60s. Rainfall amounts are going to be generous, especially up towards the north and west. By Thursday evening, we could see maybe 1.5 inches in some locations. Here's the next 7-day forecast. Scattered storms off and on through the entire period, but as we head towards next weekend, things are going to get a little bit drier, especially the early part of next week.
Wow, it sure does look like we have a week ahead of us, pretty up and down kind of week. Thank you for the forecast. Coming up, questions arise after a mass shooting in Texas.
Investigators are still working to determine the motive behind the mass shooting at this sprawling outlet mall in Texas. I'm Casey Stiegel. The latest from the scene is coming up.
Eligible TurboTax users can expect a payout from a multi-million-dollar settlement. TurboTax customers who paid to file their taxes when they could have filed them for free between the tax years between 2016 through 2018 may qualify to get a cut from the parent company Intuit's $141 million settlement. The New York Attorney General's office led an investigation into the company, alleging their marketing deceived customers. Intuit did not admit to wrongdoing in the case, a spokesperson saying that the company was, quote, pleased to have reached a resolution. A major housing association is speaking out against the Biden administration on its housing subsidizing plan. The National Association of Realtors say the plan to tack on fees to good-risk home buyers to help high-risk buyers is unnecessary and should be eliminated. A new rule went into effect on May 1st, adding fees for new home buyers. The NAR says federal financiers like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac don't need the new assistance. The association says the annual mortgage rate could increase by more than 6%. Toyota's new Tacoma pickup truck has a nifty feature for when you're camping. The 2024 midsize pickup comes with an audio system featuring a removable JBL Flex Bluetooth speaker. The speaker sits in the middle of the dashboard when you're inside the vehicle, and it can pop out the dash and let you enjoy the Bluetooth sound while outside. The new feature is a part of Tacoma's first major redesign since 2005. Up next, Teachers Appreciation Week is coming up. We'll take a look at some of the area's treats available for educators. Some of America's restaurants might be teachers' pets next week, showing them some special appreciation. Teachers Appreciation Week starts on May 8th all the way through the 12th. Some chain restaurants are saying thanks to teachers with some delicious deals. Freddy Ice Cream is offering a free mini sundae. Grimlo's Pizza is giving 15% off to all teachers, and Firehouse Subs will give a free medium sub when buying a medium or large sub with a drink and chips. Also, stop by Sonic and Logan Roadhouse for some more deals. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, we'll take a look at how an Indiana school is taking the steps to protect the students from gun violence. 8 people were killed and 7 others hurt on Saturday after a gunman opened fire at a Texas mall. Police today identifying the shooter as 33-year-old Marcicio Garcia. Fox News correspondent Casey Stiegel has the latest.
The country rocked on Saturday by another mass shooting, this time at a sprawling outlet mall in a Dallas suburb. Police say a man pulled into the parking lot and started firing at random. An officer put an end to the violence, but not before multiple people were killed.
He heard gunshots, located the gunshot, located the shooter, neutralized the shooter, neutralized the threat.
Witnesses say the victims included children. Several others remain hospitalized, some in critical condition. The gunman reportedly wore tactical gear and was armed with an AR-15 style rifle. A motive for the attack is still unclear, but shoppers inside the mall at the time described the terrifying moments when they heard gunshots.
Pop, 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 pop. And we saw sparks flying, like it was right in front of us.
Everybody ran to the back of the store, and like my sister, she tried to cover me so nobody could shoot me.
Hundreds of people either hid in place or ran out as the mall was evacuated. Those who lived through it still in shock and disbelief.
It's kind of a lot to take in because you read about it or you see it on the news all the time about these shootings. You never think it's going to happen to you.
A prayer vigil is being held this evening for a community that is now trying to heal. That's the latest from Allen, Texas. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
Sam Lane joins us.
All right, we had a beautiful day across the area, very warm. We had some thunderstorms earlier this morning, but those rapidly moved off towards the east, and we were left with mostly fair skies through the afternoon hours. We did have a little bit of rainfall with that activity this morning, around 1/10 of an inch in most locations, although they picked up a little over that near Greenfield, and mainly around 7/10 of an inch of rainfall there. We also watching some storms down in northern Texas and also in northern Kansas, and these storms up in northern Kansas are going to likely form into a complex that will roll to the south and east and maybe impact our northern counties later on tonight. Temperatures are going to be dropping through the 70s all the way down to 67 by tomorrow morning, again with a better chance of storms in the morning hours, especially up towards the north. And that's on our down the lane look. Morning thunder showers with some isolated afternoon storms, above normal temperatures for a while, but a gradual cool down coming as well, and I'll tell you about that in just a little while.
School leaders in Fort Wayne, Indiana are looking to add weapons detection systems into schools. Unlike with metal detectors, they wouldn't require students and staff to empty their pockets. District leaders plan to put a referendum on the ballot in November to raise money for the systems and other security enhancements. The goal is to put in $5 to $8 million a year over 8 years. An alarming new report out this week is highlighting a growing concern among educators in the United States. Test scores revealed a sharp decline for many U.S. students in history and civics. Mike Valerido has more on what is happening behind this new trend and what experts say that needs to be done.
For parents and teachers across the United States, the revelations are troubling, but perhaps not surprising.
The declines that we're seeing, particularly in U.S. history, were widespread for lower, middle, and higher performing students.
A report from the National Center for Education Statistics, often referred to as the nation's report card, shows a sharp drop in test scores for 8th graders in U.S. history and civics across several themes, including democracy, culture, technology, and the changing role of America in the world. 40% of students scored below basic proficiency in 2022. That's an increase of 6% since 2018. And only 22% of students tested were found to be proficient or advanced in civics. Ebony Walton, a statistician with the organization that conducted the study, says the results highlight a continuing pattern of lower test scores across several subjects, including math and reading.
On the whole, we are seeing, particularly for our lower performing students, declines almost across the board, regardless of subject.
Experts point to the disruption from the COVID-19 pandemic as a major reason behind the recent struggles for American students. But when it comes to history and civics, Walton sees a problem that's existed for years.
We see no change almost in 30 years on average, or across what we call our percentiles for lower, middle, and higher performing students in either of these subjects, meaning that in almost 30 years, we're not tracking much progress in these areas.
Still ahead, the UK has crowned a new king and celebrations are underway. We'll take you there.
Well, another summer-like day across the 4 states with temperatures getting close to record levels yet again today. We do have some rain chances in our forecast, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Right now, it's a beautiful evening at Seneca, Missouri, at Nico Sky Casino and Resort. Not a cloud in the sky hardly, maybe a few cirrus clouds, and that is about it. We have a lot of pollen, though, in the atmosphere. 9.3 today, 10.7 tomorrow. Most of that is going to be mulberry, oak, and various grasses across the area. We made it up to 85 today, which was only 3 degrees away from the record set back in 1962. And of course, we were way above the normals of 74 and 53. And we're about 4 inches behind on rainfall, and hopefully we can catch up on that in the coming days. Highs this afternoon across the area were very impressive, especially up towards the northwest, where they approached 90 degrees in Yates Center and Garnett, as well as Fredonia with 89. A little bit cooler off towards the east, and temperatures have now dropped down into the mid-70s for the most part across the area, getting close to 80 though in Howard and in Sedan with 79. Radar is clear in our immediate area, but if we take a look up to the north and west, look at this big complex of storms from Concordia on over towards St. Joe. That is going to be moving to the south and east and may clip the northern counties late tonight and early tomorrow morning. That's where the best chance of rain for tonight's going to be. You can see on the wider view that clump of thunderstorms over southern Nebraska and northern Kansas, and also some storms over Texas that are going to be staying to the south. We're waiting on a bigger piece of energy off the west coast that's going to make its way closer to us, and that's going to increase our chances of rain here in the metro area. Right now, we're 75. Feels like 75, the dew point 66 in the south-southwest wind at 15. And in Pittsburgh, you can see 74 degrees with a south wind at 10 and a dew point of 70, giving us humidity pretty high at 87%. Ridge of high pressure that's been sitting over us is going to weaken over the next few days and move off towards the east. That's going to allow that big low on the west coast to get a little bit closer to us. And as it does, we're going to see the moisture increase and the rain chances as well. Speaking of rain chances, tomorrow the best threat of severe weather is going to be in their eastern sections from about Springfield eastward. And then on Tuesday, I think the better chance of severe weather is going to be in our western viewing area, with maybe some of those storms sneaking over in dry area late Tuesday night into early Wednesday. And looking at the forecast for tonight, you can see the complex of storms barely moving off towards the north and east with lows in the 60s. Here comes a front, but it's going to sag through our area. Temperatures on the backside are not really all that different ahead of it, with highs tomorrow in the mid-80s across the area. Then as we go into Tuesday morning, we can see that boundary stalling out and creating showers and storms across our area on Tuesday morning with lows in the 60s. Tuesday afternoon, it kind of retreats back to the south and west, maybe an isolated storm or two with highs in the mid to upper 80s. And then Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, another complex will make a run at our area with lows in the 60s across the area. Rainfall amounts between now and Thursday are going to be most generous up to the north and west, where they could pick up 1.5 inches, lighter amounts to the south and east. Over the next 7 days, we have several chances of showers and storms, some days more than others, but it's not going to be raining the entire time, with highs in the 80s and lows in the 60s, and then cooling down a little bit as we go into the extended forecast period.
Nice, it's looking good, thank you. Coming up in sports, the Missouri Southern Lions softball team is competing in the MIAA championship game. Plus, the Lions baseball team faces elimination. We'll go over the highlights from today's game next in sports.
Well, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State both face elimination in the first round of the MIAA tournament coming into Sunday. A win for both teams sends them to Warrensburg for the semifinals next week. A loss keeps them at home, wondering if they'll play their next game in the NCAA regionals. We'll start things off in Pittsburgh. The series is tied between the Gorillas and the Central Oklahoma Broncos. First inning, 1-0 UCO. Jake Grauberger hits this ball on a vacation far away. 3-run homer puts Pitt State up 3-1. And now we go off to the second inning. 5-3 Pitt State. MIAA Player of the Year Nixon Brandon rips this into left field. RBI single makes it 6-3 Gorillas. Bottom of the third now. 6-5 Gorillas. Austin Warkins deep to right field. And take a good look. You won't see it for long. 3-run bomb by Wark makes it 9-5 Gorillas. Pittsburgh State is moving on. Gorillas eliminate Central Oklahoma, winning today's game 14-8. Pittsburgh State takes on Central Missouri next weekend in Warrensburg. So let's take a look into Joplin now. Same situation, Missouri Southern Lions facing the Newman Jets in an elimination game. Bottom of the fifth inning, tied 1-1. Ethan Clark drives this over the second baseman's head. 2-run score. Clark turns it into a double. Lions take a 3-1 lead. Bottom of the sixth now, same score. Drew Davis at the plate. He hits it high. He hits it deep. but it stays in the park, rolling away from outfielders, and Garrett Rice will come home and step on home plate with some authority. Lions fired up. RBI triple by Davis makes it 4-1 Southern. Later in the inning, 6-1 Lions. Nate Meskowski puts this one to bed. You can put it on the board. Yes. Lions now up 8-1 in off to the 9th inning now. 8-4 Southern. Leif Holtain slams the door shut. Called strike 3. Ball game. Your Lions are moving on. They defeat the Newman Jets by a final score of 8-4. Missouri Southern takes on Northeastern State next weekend in Warrensburg.
Trent Harris had a really good start for us. He did what we needed him to do. We were not great offensively this weekend until the scoreboard says until the 6th or the 7th inning. So credit to Newman. It was a hard-fought series. They played great. We just had a little more at the end.
A good team win. This whole weekend we haven't been hitting that well, and today we pretty much put it together. Had some good swings and big moments, and it's a good overall team win. Knew it was gone. I hit it pretty well. I mean, it was my first ball I've barreled all weekend, so it felt good to get that.
Well, it's Championship Sunday, the MIAA softball tournament. Missouri Southern's looking to win their first MIAA championship since 2001. Sunday was not the best day for Missouri Southern. Lions lose to Central Oklahoma 11-4. Missouri Southern played in 5 games in 3 days. Certainly that was a huge factor. Lions played doubleheaders on Friday and Saturday. Central Oklahoma, on the other hand, did not have to play one doubleheader the entire tournament. However, Katie Gray goes 2 for 3 with 2 solo home runs in this game. Kara Amos also homered in this game. She finishes the game going 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs. Lions will now wait and see where they will be placed in the NCAA Regionals. Well, there haven't been many bright spots for the Royals or the Cardinals this season, but one team has the worst record in the American League and the other has the worst in the National League. We'll start off here at Kansas City. Royals and A's. Today, the Royals get the win 5-1, avoiding the sweep. Salvador Perez hits a solo home run in the first inning. Nick Prado hits a 2-run double in the 8th inning. So let's go on to St. Louis now. Other side of the state, Busch Stadium, Tigers at Cardinals, first inning, reigning National League MVP, Paul Goldschmidt. That ball is long gone to center field, and it'll be an easy 1-0 score, Redbirds. Third inning now, 2-0 St. Louis. Goldie again, deep center field. Riley Green is out of room, it's out of here. Second home run of the day for Goldschmidt, 3-0 Cardinals. So to the 6th inning we go now. St. Louis up 3-2. Tigers have been scrappy all weekend. Jake Rogers, nothing scrappy about that. Grand slam-a-jamma. Grand slam gives Detroit a 6-3 lead. So to the 8th inning, Cards up 10-6. Paul Goldschmidt, can he do it again? Of course he can. He's the MVP. That's what you're supposed to look like. Upper tank, Big Mac land. Look out. It's a hat trick. Third homer of the day for Goldschmidt. St. Louis avoids a sweep and beats Detroit 12-6. That'll be it with sports tonight. We'll be back after this.
A large community lunch took place in London this morning as the coronation celebrations continue. A star-studded lineup is paying tribute to King Charles III tonight with a concert at Windsor Castle. Fox News correspondent Alex Duggan has more on the festivities.
The ceremony might have concluded, but the coronation weekend is far from over. People have continued to gather outside Buckingham Palace. Many of them, including tourists, say they are in awe of such a historic day that England has not seen in 70 years.
A wonderful combination of pomp and circumstance and a dedication of person to life's work.
It was really passionate to see the coronation.
Yeah, I love the tradition. I hope it just keeps on forever and ever. Beautiful.
The whole ceremony was wonderful in my mind, and I think also in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it so very much.
2,000 people, including 90 foreign leaders, gathered at Westminster Abbey to see the 74-year-old monarch officially crowned king, as thousands gathered outside to catch a glimpse of the newly crowned king and queen. Today, William and Kate, the Prince and Princess of Wales, gave the public a more intimate look at the milestone through their perspective. This clip featured Prince Louis and Princess Charlotte often holding hands, and Prince George, who became the youngest ever heir to the throne to participate in a coronation by becoming his grandfather's patron page of honor. Today, they greeted fans outside Windsor Castle, stopping to shake hands and even give out hugs. It's also where the coronation concert took place, featuring musicians like Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Take That. Today, across the country, people held block parties and celebratory lunches. Among those that were held was one here in London by British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, and among those in attendance was First Lady Dr. Jill Biden. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Up next, how a group of college students created a new tool to help firefighters on the job. We've seen the dangerous power of wildfires that can wipe out entire neighborhoods and forests in just a flash. Trying to contain those blazes can be life-threatening for firefighters. A group of student engineers in Texas have developed a new tool to help. Olivia Reach shows us the prototype they call RoboMoto.
It may look lethal, but this robot could actually help save lives one day. A team of UT Dallas engineering students designed the machine to help revolutionize how firefighters battle wildfires.
This essentially can also be simultaneously controlled from a remote location. And so that will help a firefighter or help someone that can use this robot to attend to the problem while also not being at risk.
The team spent over 8 months coding, designing, and troubleshooting until they got it right.
It's very exciting. Seeing the whole robot progress from just bare parts to an actual functioning robot.
Their project sponsor, UT grad Rick Tett, sparked the idea by challenging the students to use the foot pedal control system he invented.
All right, controller on.
Here's how it works. Using the pedal, the students are able to navigate the robot in any direction, from far distances away, using a camera as their guide.
We've tested it where we can control it from the end of campus to here.
This means firefighters could get an up-close look at a wildfire without ever setting foot on the scene.
And we hope that it can really just start or pave the pathway to something bigger.
Once the robot gets close to flames, the user can direct it to spray fire-suppressing foam directly on that fire while you're safely at a distance. Although this robot hasn't come face-to-face with a fire yet, this team's work is helping advance firefighting technology. The robot will be used to help develop a firefighting tank that could be used in the field one day.
It's very fulfilling. Seeing that our product is going to hopefully change people's lives and actually have a change in the world.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of rain would help put out some fires too, and hopefully we're going to see some of that as we head through the forecast. 20% chance of showers and storms tomorrow, 40% on Tuesday, and then you can see through the rest of the forecast period scattered showers and storms off and on, and then we start to dry out as we head towards next weekend and the early part of next week.
Well, thanks, Sam. That's our time for tonight, and thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of Tamuta pups at the San Diego Zoo. We'll see you back here next time. Thank you for making us a part of your night.